So we're wrapping up this series, Money Talks, 3 things that it would love to tell you. So if our money started talking, what would our money say? And we decided that none of us would be shocked at what our money would tell us, especially if our money was giving us good financial advice. The shocker is the parallel between what our money would say if it could talk and what Jesus did say when he did talk about money and possessions. So week 1, we asked the question, what would our money say if it could actually talk? And if it actually started talking, and we said our money might say this: I can add meaning to your life, but I am not the meaning of life. And we talked about the fact that money actually becomes most meaningful when it becomes a means to an end that's not you. The second thing our money might say if our money started talking is this: I'm a better servant than master. In fact, your self-control will actually determine which one of us gets in control and which one of us stays in control. Because money woes generally begin with character issues, not money problems. So wrapping up today, I want to talk about the third thing that our money might say if our money were to begin to talk. And once again, it parallels exactly what Jesus said when he did talk about money and possessions. And here's what our money might tell us: I'm easy to keep up with. I'm easy to keep up with, but I'm difficult to catch up with. I'm easy to keep up with, but I'm difficult to catch up with. Keep up or you'll be playing catch up. When you fall behind financially, and specifically when you fall behind knowing where your money's gone and where your money's going, you begin to get more stressed out. You begin to get more worried. You burn more energy and create more stress playing catch up financially. And the truth is, and you're not going to like me for saying this, there's really no excuse for not knowing where your money has been going. There's really not a good excuse for not knowing where your money went. When it comes to money, we should never find ourselves saying, well, it seems to me, or, well, I'm not sure, or well, that can't possibly be, right? And the reason we should never say these things as it relates to our finances is because a certain amount comes in, and then we send it places, right? A certain amount comes in, you know how much comes in, or you should know how much comes in, and then you and your husband or you and your wife send it places. So, and I've said this before if it sounds familiar, so consequently, we should all be knowing where our money is going, right? We should all know this. There should be no mystery about where your money is going. When you lose track of where it's going, it takes over. Because it takes over emotionally. And you know how we feel? You know how we feel because we've all been there. You feel out of control, don't you? You just feel like something has taken over and you're trying to catch up. So if your money started talking and was addressing this particular issue, your money may say this: look, I'm easy to track. But if you lose track of me, you will lose your peace of mind. And if you lose your peace of mind for too long, you may feel like you're losing your mind. So consequently, all of us, Christian, non-Christian, religious, non-religious, theist, non-theist, it doesn't matter. All of us need a plan for tracking our spending so we're all knowing where our money is going. And this is true whether you have a little or a lot. You need a simple way. You need a simple way to track your actual spending. And the thing is, it is so simple now, there is no excuse for all of us not to do this. Because, and I made this up myself, when you know you're going to log it, you're more inclined to hog it. You like that? So last night we were talking about this. Sandra said, that's not good, okay? The word hog sounds like you're being selfish. So she came up with one. So this is her version of the same thing. Okay, you can decide which one you like. Hers is this: when you know you're going to record it, you'll be more inclined to consider whether you should afford it. So let me see a hand. No, okay. Are you like that better? This is what you do when you're empty nesters. You sit around trying to make the sermon rhyme, okay? Now, I almost made a mistake at this point in trying to figure out how to say this. I was going to say, don't raise your hand. I was going to say, it's kind of like keeping track of what you eat. And then I was going to say, don't raise your hand. I was going to say, how many of you have ever downloaded one of those apps where you log in everything you eat? And I thought, people shouldn't raise their hands for that. But how many of you have downloaded an app where you log in everything you eat? Yes, I like that you raise your hand like this, like you were kind of worshiping and admitting at the same time. Yeah, it's kind of okay, I'm giving it up. Yeah, so I have too. We it's a great thing. And when you use one of those apps, you think, okay, I'm going to log everything I eat. And what happens when you do that? A lot of you have done this. You realize every time you're about to eat something, you think, oh, I'm going to have to log it. Ooh, I don't want to log that. Or you do what I did. You're just like, okay, well, I've got 600 calories left, and if I just don't eat any of these 600, then I can have like an ice cream cone, and it's about 800. But anyway, so you start playing these games. But what happens? It slows you down, doesn't it? Because if you know you're going to log it, you're going to sort of protect those calories for something better or for something later to make sure you don't go over your 4,000 calorie limit every day, right? So, or 3,500, whatever your calorie limit is, right? So here, I'm going to give you a little challenge, okay? Gave you a challenge last week. I'm going to give you a challenge this week. The challenge is this, just for 2 months, okay? I want to challenge you to figure out a way to document your spending for 2 months, just 2 months. And then the second thing is I just want you at the end of those 2 months to sit down and look at it. And then adjust if necessary. For some of you, you're going to be thrilled. For some of you, you're going to be shocked. But here's the thing. If you're a Christian, if you're a Jesus follower, this goes way beyond practical, and this goes way beyond helpful, because Jesus actually taught specifically as to why this is such a big deal. He said again, because he's talking about something he's talked about many times, again, the kingdom of heaven, the value system of God that he wants lived out on earth, again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. And if you read this whole parable, it becomes clear that the wealthy man who's entrusting his wealth to these servants is God, and the servants to whom the wealth is entrusted is me and is you and is the followers of Jesus or the potential followers of Jesus. It's kind of interesting. He gives one guy 5 bags of something of value and another person 2 bags of something of value, and the other guy got 1 bag. And he said, now, while I'm gone, I expect you to go do with my wealth what I would do with my wealth, and when I get back, I hope to have a return on my money. I want you to manage it the way you think I would. The issue was not the amount each of them were asked to manage. The issue was what they did with what they were asked to manage. And the point of the parable that Jesus is making is that 100% of it belonged to the master, and 0% of it belonged to the servants. They were managers, not owners. It was all his. They managed it. Then they had an opportunity to give an account about how well they did and what they did with the wealthy man's money. It's all his. And here's the great news about that paradigm and that idea and that picture and that approach. And again, Jesus, so brilliant. The reason you should keep track of where your money is going, it's not your money. We should be knowing where our master's money is going, so you should pay attention. And the more you have, the closer attention you should pay. So create a system. Just do this for 2 months. Create a system where you monitor where your money goes. And then sit down and look at it. Stop every once in a while and just take a look. And if you don't like what you see, adjust. Because, and this is the bottom line, this is throughout the teaching of Jesus. How we manage our money speaks volumes about who and whose we are.